Your whole alphabet took that over. And sororities. Can't forget about them, too. All right, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 21st meeting of the Auburn School Committee. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, introductions down here to my right, please.
Brian Belknap, Ward 4.
Clarissa Perez Armendariz, Ward 1.
Pam Hart, Ward 2.
Karen Matthew, Ward 3.
Connie Brown, Superintendent.
Pat Gaudier at large.
Gabriel Desperell, Student Representative.
Jillian Dume, Student Representative.
Sue Doris, Assistant Superintendent.
Mark Conrad, Business Manager.
All right, welcome all. So tonight, let's start with the approval of the agenda, which includes the approval of tonight's agenda, as well as the minutes from the 9/7 meeting. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Brian. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Clarissa. Questions, comments? All those in favor? Motion passes. All right, let's open it up to public participation. And anyone from the public like to come and address the school committee this evening? All right, seeing none, I'll close public participation. We have no presentation this evening from the schools itself. However, we do have a school committee presentation this evening. Gabe, you're on this week?
Yes.
All right.
We're trying the new cycle thing, so we now have Jillian in there, so it's like me, Abby, Jillian. So instead of every
Got
two
it.
meetings, it's 3, which is nice on my end.
Nice. Oh, I should have said Abigail was excused this evening. She has an event at EL that she is attending.
Oh, there it is. All right. So today I'll be talking about the Edward Little High School Student Council Leadership Event Guide. This took me 3 hours to make at Starbucks, and it took me a little more to put together this presentation, but this is what we have so far for our events planned. Student Leadership Council-wise, this is excluding executive board or any of their clubs that may be doing events throughout the year. And this is not including sports either, which I know have a lot between now and January 1st. So first thing we have is 2022 food drive. Sadly, Abby is not here, and I was going to ask her about an update for that, but EL has done a food drive for the past couple of years. And our goal this year, the reason why 2022 is quotated, we are trying to get 2,022 food items donated by the school. So that's roughly 2 items per student in the school. And last year we donated to Good Shepherd. We donated over 400 pounds of food items. So we're trying to improve our goal every year. And the theme you'll see with this is we have regular type events and they have committee events. Committee events are led by one of the officers, me, Abby, or Najma, and those are separate meetings from regular council events. Next is Miss Aretian's gift shop collection. This is a new one. I'm in charge of this one. Planning date is October 6th, so that's coming up soon. And I just learned of this, but it's been happening for a couple of years. Miss Aretian hosts an annual gift shop collection. This event helps underprivileged students who may not have the means to afford a holiday gift get one. In the past, items such as clothing, kitchenware, and toys have been offered at the gift shop. I know one of the committee members, they had an experience with this because their family was possibly going to be homeless, and the shop helped them get Christmas gifts for the Christmas season. So there's a lot of personal aspects to this committee, which I appreciate. The planning of Winter Carnival. Winter Carnival starts next year, but we're planning it extra early because we got a lot of advice to start earlier and come up with days earlier. This is a whole council meeting, and this is in March, so we really plan this every other week. Heavy planning, but it's definitely worth it because we have a lot of fun games that we get to play. We get to do friendly competition between the groups. I think last year we did like cornhole and dodgeball and basketball. We want to try that again this year to raise the spirit during March since nothing's really happening during that time. The planning of Midnight Marathon, Mr. Barry's golden child of the Student Leadership Council. He's been doing this for the past 3 years. It's going to be our 4th or 5th this year, I believe. And he hosts a midnight marathon. So the week before Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we watch an Eddie's basketball game, we go to the rollerdrome rink in New Auburn, and then we go to just-in-time bowling, I believe it's called, in Lewiston. Go till midnight, as the name states, and we don't have school the next day, which is even better, so I don't have to wake up at 6 o'clock groggy and tired. But this is also a heavy planning event. That's why we're starting in December, and this is probably going to be weekly meetings that we will be doing. An alternative committee. This isn't an event, but we started something new again. Mr. Latouche recommended this to us. Najma, our secretary in Student Leadership Council, is in charge of this committee, and it's media and announcements. We've had a Twitter, but it's been dormant for the past couple of years. Najma Bohr has put together, I believe, an Instagram and hopefully a new Twitter soon. And we're updating school-wide events. So it's not just anything Student Leadership Council. If the boys soccer team won, we'll post that. If the math team got first place, we'll post that. The whole point of media and announcements is to boost the Eddie's community and share Eddie's wins and pride. We also want to do announcements, but sadly Ms. McCurdy is not in the school at the moment, so we don't have access to that. But hopefully within the new year, when she does come back, or in November, we can start doing morning announcements as well. We really want the whole school to get involved. And then we have bonus events happening, not affiliated with Student Leadership Council, but I feel like you guys should know. Spirit Week is happening October 3rd through the 7th. Homecoming dance is that Saturday. And then the drama production is doing Mamma Mia between November 17th and the 19th. I believe it's at the Community Little Center. And that's all.
Great.
Any questions or comments?
The holiday gift giving. Are you taking donations from the community, or how are you obtaining those gifts to give to the students?
So I'm running the committee as get donations how you can. You can either get it from businesses, we can get it from community members as well. The way I have it set up is committee members are expected to get a certain amount of donated items within the qualifying category, so clothing, kitchenware, or toys. And we give it to Mrs. Aretzian. She does what she needs to, and then we volunteer our time either during senior privilege or during flex period, and we help navigate people around, wrap gifts. But any donation is a donation. As long as it's new and it qualifies under the 3 categories, then it does not matter.
Are you also taking monetary?
Yes, we are. Cash is another thing we're going for, because some businesses may not have them, but they may have a check that they can give to us, and that will be spent on kitchenware and clothing, probably somewhere like JCPenney or somewhere with nice clothing.
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Thanks for the question. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Gabriel. This is amazing, and I thank you for being involved. This is all community, right? It's built community, and it's amazing to see you guys foster this inside of yourselves to give forth to others. So thank you so much for taking up this torch. It's not an easy one to take. Thank you. All right, moving on. We have no superintendent's report this evening. It's a lighter agenda because of our retreat coming up. No chairperson's report. Mr. Mayor, do you have a city council update for us? Okay, committee reports. You have the finance committee agenda as well as the minutes, and I believe the DEI just met, curriculum subcommittee minutes were on there. Everything was on there. So does anyone have any questions regarding any of the agendas or minutes? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. We're moving into old business, which is right now, flip up. Can I entertain a motion for the second read and approval of policy AUB-KHB, the advertising in schools, please?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second
Brian.
that motion.
Thank you, Jason. Questions, comments from the school committee? Pam?
I have a question. So part of the fundraising for the Edward Little High School, the new high school, is we're asking for donations for naming rights.
Okay.
So would that be considered advertising, or, because if a business said they were going to give us $25,000 and they wanted their name on the concession stands, and they were, I don't know, a business in town, would that be advertising, or is this more like national advertising, like wear Nike, or, that's my
Great question. Great question. Anyone have any answers? Do we know?
I mean, historically, when you're doing naming, it's permanent, it's a philanthropic giving, so it's a different tax category. When you're buying advertising, it's temporary. There's for a set contract in a period of time, so it's not permanent. So that's your major difference.
Okay.
I think the naming of, you're talking about naming rights, like the Seltzer Ride Home, Skybox, whatever the case is. Yeah, I think that's different than just doing, hey, come to Pat's Pizza.
Okay.
Right, and I'm not seeing anything, and actually I'm going to open it up to public comment, just in case folks here who have put this proposal together could answer some of those questions, but I am not seeing on here, I see the studio, the press box sponsor, but something like you were specifically naming is not on here, and I do have a question about what business exclusivity is.
And I know that part of this says that, if a business wants to advertise, they can come to us and we can decide.
Right.
But I just wanted to specifically ask about that because that is something that we are talking about in the fundraising
committee.
Yes.
Okay, so can I invite someone who's here tonight to speak to just a couple of questions, what business exclusivity is? Hi, welcome.
Hi there.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
The podium has a live mic as well as that one, so you just need to make sure to speak into the live mic.
Hi there. My name is Sandy Irish. I am one of the leaders of the Edward Little High School football program, or our parent group, I should say. And we submitted a proposal, which you guys are chatting about, with regards to our needs as a football program and our desire to use the program that we have developed to support our local businesses who have supported our football program by giving them added exposure by advertising with signs on our football fields. And we'd like to do that at Walton. I know a lot of you have had kids in the community, played baseball, have seen these added signs on the baseball fields. It's how these programs thrive. And we have set a very lofty goal with the program that we have started, and we're pretty close to reaching it. And we're very excited, but the one thing that's stopping us is the ability to do that at Walton. We'd also like to carry that over to the new football field, the stadium that's being built. And we're not only trying to put this in place for us, but as kind of a model for the other sports programs at Edward Little High School. An added benefit would also be that we're trying to promote the new middle school program for football as well. So we are using the funds that we're raising to do good things for our program, and also the middle school program, and also to help alleviate some budget issues with regards to, funding a lot of things for the football team, where we really need it.
Okay. Can you answer, what is business exclusivity? On your proposal, it talks about business exclusivity. Can you be a little bit more clear on what that means?
Sure. My name is Brian Dubois, also a involved parent in the football parents group. One of the things we try to do in the fundraising world is provide certain levels of value at certain levels of contribution. So the higher the gift, the greater the benefit. So one of the benefits for a local company or organization would be that they would get exclusive rights, if you will. You give it, in our case, $500 or more, you would be the only accountant, the only mechanic shop, the only, what have you, attorney in town. We wouldn't solicit others as out of respect for your level of giving.
Okay, so if I am, you just use mechanics, so if I own a garage, my sign will be the only sort of mechanics or garage. I've paid for that level of exclusivity.
Correct.
Okay, that clarified in my mind what that means. Thank you. All right, any other questions for these folks who put the proposal together?
I have a question. I know you have two items on here. So we're actually item 11. This is item 9. So I don't know if we're premature in our.
Well, it crashed right in with a question Pam had, which is why I opened it up to public comment and asked you guys to come on up.
Sure, I just didn't want to
speak
get
to
those,
that. Nope, absolutely. I can see where you're going, but I wanted to make sure we had this clear in our head. But I understand is we're coming up a little bit later. Your item is a little bit later. But there was some confusion about what's happening with which. I did jump ahead just a little bit. Welcome to my brain. Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments on this advertising? All right, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
I do have a question, because now this will affect what they're saying, because this is about advertising, and they're talking about advertising, so, and I understand what they're coming from. It's, you know, it's an altruistic
So
place.
right now, we need to talk about the proposal that's in place. And then, once they have this is their proposal that they have come up with. Once we discuss the proposal, we may need to ask, we may not be able to do the exclusivity if it's going to crash right in with some sponsors and
Exactly.
some people you already have lined up.
So that I'm.
This
don't know.
pertains to Walton right now. Right now, let's actually come back to just advertising in schools. So for the moment, take off what you've got going with fundraising, just sort of, and think about the policy only.
I am. I
Okay.
am thinking about the policy, but I'm thinking that in order to, you know, go with what is being asked and the fundraising and all that, does this need to be tweaked before we accept it? Is what
Their
I'm
proposal
kind of-
is not right now. For us, it's just advertising in schools. So if you have an amendment to the policy for advertising in schools, which this is the second reading for, then that's what you would be making an amendment on, in advertising in schools. Clarissa, make sure you're still mic, please. Thank you.
I have a question about it. So it says that in some instances, product name logos or advertising may be acceptable when programming, equipment, or services can be clearly shown to be of significant benefit to the school program.
Okay.
I feel like that's gonna, like, if it's to the school program specifically, it's almost always gonna be able to be shown. So I don't know if that's, if everybody concurs that that's specific enough, or if it's to the school, or I don't know. It just feels very, I mean, if it's like the dance program, you just bring in something, if it's money, it's gonna be beneficial to the dance program. I don't know, I know I'm being a little bit devil's advocate, but I'm just
Well,
wondering what the
So-
point is.
So basically, yeah, so if there is advertising, if it's helping a school program, if it's helping something with the school, then it's okay.
the way I read it.
Okay.
That's the way I read it.
Oh,
Any other
right.
questions, comments on this one? All right, sure, public comment is still open. I'll open it back up.
So it's kind of a delicate balance here in keeping our volunteers motivated. Obviously, they're motivated by a specific program typically. So the idea that the monies raised would go to the program versus the school. In actuality, it's taking the burden off of the school, but it would be not allocated in, you know, some kind of general budget, but to be applied to the program that they're raising funds for. Does that help?
Yeah, and I think even if it is going to the program, it is, like you said, benefiting the school.
Right.
So it is it is to the school, but it's for that program, which is, because part of your proposal was about getting equipment for the AMS program, which, sorry, we're jumping around, I'm sorry.
Yeah, jumping around a little too much.
Okay,
Right now,
sorry.
just stick to advertising in schools.
Okay.
Just stick to the
And
policy.
The gist is to stay consistent with what we're pitching to our supporters, is that the money will go where we're saying it will go.
Right. So right now, I'm going to call for a vote on advertising in schools. Second read of this one. All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, now we're moving on to entertain a motion to approve the football parents group's intent to display signage at Walton Field. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Pat.
Second.
Thank you, Pam. All right, now questions, comments regarding that one, or did we kind of get them all answered?
Kind of
First
got
time around.
answered in the,
Any questions, comments? Do you want to open it up to public comment? I think Mrs. Irish and Mr. Dubus did a great job.
Yeah, listen, this is one of the, if you look at good communities, and one of the things you look for is engaged citizenry and parents, and actually, you know, for those of us who've raised money before, it's not an easy challenge. And for someone to volunteer to do this and actually already have success, yeah, this is it needs to be widespread throughout all of our extracurricular activities.
Yes.
I agree, and I think that my only question was, I didn't want
Fundraising.
I
going
didn't
on.
want our policy to make that harder for the volunteers and for people to be able to donate, because we are a community, and getting the community involved is a huge undertaking, and it's definitely very important, so
And I think
kudos to you.
the folks that are here this evening actually attended this policy meeting
Yes.
and were able to understand what the policy and what the limitations were, but also what the avenues were that they could travel down. And as someone who just got done the EL golf tournament fundraiser for the EL boys hockey, my hat's off to you. I understand what you are going through right now. So, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor to approve the parental group? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, upcoming meetings, we have a slew of them. We've got DEI just met. The 27th is a policy committee meeting. The 3rd is health and safety. 5th is curriculum. 5th is also a regular school committee meeting. The 13th is finance, and the 19th is another regular school committee meeting. I'll call for any future agenda items or requests for information at this time.
I'd like to add that October 17th at 5 o'clock, we're having another ELHS fundraising committee meeting.
Okay, thank you. We also, at 6 PM that evening, the school committee will be also meeting for a level 3 grievance meeting, 6 o'clock here in Chambers. Anything else? I think I've got any other requests for information? All right, seeing none, I am going to call for a motion to recess for workshop. School committee is going to work on the development of school committee goals. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Brian. Pam, can I take you as a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? We are now in recess. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Our mics are